Hello and welcome back. Today I'm trying out FIXDRY's Double-NT1 dual filament dryer. I do want to start off by saying that this was given to me for free by the people at FIXDRY. However, and I know you probably hear this a lot, that fact really does not bias my opinion of the dryer, or anything I review in the future for that matter. I'm not given a script, and if I don't like it, I won't pretend to like it. That being said, I do use FIXDRY's knob dryer almost every time I print with TPU or PETG, especially if it's a longer print. I just let it run while I'm printing. And it hasn't let me down thus far, so if the quality of this one is anywhere near as good as that one, I'm sure I'll like it too. Anyway, enough rambling, let's get into this. Alright, just like with the one knob, we'll start off this video with an unboxing. So the first thing I noticed was that this dryer is huge compared to the knob dryer. It's in the background there as you can see, but I'll set them side by side a little later so you can see the difference. The next thing I noticed was all the outlets for routing the filament. There's literally one everywhere you could possibly need it. This thing just looks really cool, that brushed aluminum look. And this piece here redirects the heat so that it doesn't just flow directly at the spool and potentially cause melting. My first thought was that this should just come already attached. However, having it removable has been pretty nice when it comes to vacuuming this thing out. Anyone with a pet knows their hair gets everywhere, and my little nerd's hair is no exception to that. Let's skim the manual. Shroud. All your temperatures that I should have paid attention to last time. That's pretty much it. Very good seal. And here's a side-by-side of the dryers I have. I set the Solval dryer out there too for comparison's sake. And now I'm about to unintentionally demonstrate the one downside I've found, which is a lack of like a handle or some kind of depression in the plastic to grab to easily remove the lid. As it is now, I have to grip the sides of the lid with my palms and lift up to get it off. Thankfully the base has some weight to it, so it's not that bad, but it definitely needs handles or something. I'm gonna have to see if I can print something to make taking the lid off easier. Now that I've got my rolls of TPU in there, I'm gonna set this to dry going by what the manual says, which is 55 degrees Celsius for 4 hours. The interface is pretty easy to figure out. You have a power button, menu button, and plus and minus buttons. Clicking the menu button once allows you to set the temperature with the plus and minus buttons. The second time lets you set the hours on the timer, the third time lets you set the minutes. And on the top right is the humidity sensor readout. So I'm going to start this and come back after 4 hours. And while that's running, if my camera will focus, I was trying to get a good comparison by printing one of these calibration cubes before and after using the dryer. And since I always use a dryer or a dry box, what you're looking at now is a cube that I printed after leaving this roll of TPU outside all night. As you can see, it's not pretty. It's got zits and streaks and stuff in it. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's definitely not pretty. Okay, now the timer has stopped after 4 hours of the filament being in the dryer, so let's print another calibration cube and compare it to this one. Before that, I wanted to show that this dryer does have an alert beep when the timer runs out. I reset the timer for 1 minute afterwards just to show it off on camera. I was able to get the dryer on the shelf above my printer, which reminded me that one of these days I need to finish painting this room and organize a little better. I digress. Alright, so here's the cube after drying, and the difference is pretty obvious. This one doesn't have any zits or streaks on it like the first one, so no surprise there, the dryer does what it's intended to do. Okay, so to recap, let's do some pros and cons. The pros are, first off, this is subjective, but I personally think it looks really good. I like the brushed metal look a lot, and that paired with the smoked lid, I just think it looks really good. Also, it's a dual roll dryer, so I won't have to swap rolls as often. It's big enough that if I get a 3-kilogram spool, it'll fit right in. The interface was pretty easy to figure out even without looking at the manual. And the timer is a great addition over the one knob. I had the one knob on a smart plug in order to turn it off after printing, like especially if I was printing overnight or something. So being able to just set a timer and have it shut off is really nice. And finally, having all the filament routing holes means I can put this thing pretty much anywhere I want, and I'll always have an easy path for the filament to run straight to the printer. Now on to the cons. I've had this for a few days now, and honestly, the only problem I've had is taking the lid off, especially with it sitting up on the shelf like I have it. It's not a deal breaker, but it's not ideal either. Like I said, I can probably print something to help this issue, but as it is, I feel like it's something that should have been added originally. But as far as cons, that's it. That's the one con I'm seeing. Of course, I'll be using this a lot in the future, and if any other issues should arise, I will certainly keep this updated. But for now, I'm extremely happy with this dryer. Alright, if you want to check this dryer out or anything else FIXDRY has to offer, there will be affiliate links below, as well as a 10% discount code you can use at checkout to save yourself some dough. As for now, that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. I appreciate you tuning in, catch you in the next one, and as always, have the best day ever.